Of course. I mean, I want to catch up with you as far as the CEDIA stuff because
man.
you weren't here, so I had to get Ike in here because I needed to hear, some of the new
Yeah.
stuff that was happening.
Yeah, we had a blast, man. That was my first year at CEDIA. I was wanting to go, of course, in 2020. Pandemic hit. I was scheduled to go in 2021. And literally the week before, pretty much all the brands just started bailing. They're like, yeah, not this year. So I'm like, okay, there's no reason to go if none of the great brands are going to be there,
But
So I had to
now it
back
seems
out
like
as well.
everything's kind of back to normal.
Yeah, everybody's
Oh,
excited. There was a good vibe there, and just a kind of a high energy.
was it everything you expected?
Yeah, it was really cool. A lot better than the audio show that we have here in Florida. Just I don't know. It was definitely different. Part of it is they had actual dedicated rooms.
I saw they built them out. Did they pay for that, right?
Dude, so on the main trade show floor, so think about a big expo hall, convention center type. So this is just a big, almost like warehouse, massive ceilings, massive space. And so, brands get to purchase probably different size spaces for their booth. And of course, they pay more money for the bigger ones.
Yeah.
And some of them, some of them kind of collaborated. Because if you can imagine, CEDIA is expensive to begin with for a brand. One of the brands told me on a flight home from Audio Advice Live, he said, Michael, we spent $10,000 last year just getting an internet drop to our booth. 10 grand.
Internet. Okay.
Just getting like a hard Ethernet cable to our booth. $10,000.
Wow.
So CEDIA can literally add up to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for these brands. And so what I found is that several of these brands partner. They find partners. So one of those was Trenov, partnered with MadVR and Sonus Faber and Macintosh and forget the projector model, but Barco.
Barco, yeah.
And so they all kind of come together for a collaboration to build this room.
Don't forget about 100K Youthman, though. They partnered with him, too.
Nah, I didn't have any part of that, dude. So they had this massive room, beautiful room, that was custom built from, I think, like France, somewhere overseas, shipped over here. It was actually shipped over here like 6 months ago, and then it sat there for a long time, and they couldn't release it and all this stuff. So they literally built that room in a day and a half as far as putting it together and assembling it and everything, getting it calibrated. So that was really cool. And then you've got other brands, Absolute Ultimate AV partners with the speaker brand because they don't really sell speakers. They sell projectors and video equipment and things like that. And so, but that was just really cool to be able to see these brands like Wisdom Audio pairing up with Quantum, for the video side of it, and just getting to experience those. But my schedule was super, super busy. We were filming, I think I had 10 or 11 booths to cover in 3 days. So we did 4 on day 1, 5 on day 2, one of those being off campus at a dealer's showroom. And that was incredible. That was the first time I'd ever heard of Meyer Sound.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do a lot of live stuff. Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal system.
They have a crazy system, actually. A little side note. You know how we always joke around like Atmos and Oro and all this, right?
Yeah.
They make a system where you can put as many speakers as you want, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can place the speakers anywhere you want, and then it adjusts for where you place it. So it's kind of like, you can think of Atmos. Okay, you have to put the speakers here, or you got to put the speakers. They're like, put the speakers anywhere you want. And then in the software, you can move stuff. Anyway, it's just way more advanced.
Sure.
Than what we have. Anyway, so you checked out that system.
Meyer was cool. So I'll actually be editing that video this week. Think of it kind of like a home theater tour, because we actually come in the front door and we talk about just a little bit of the things they do there with whole house audio, and then, motorized shades. And then we kind of go right into the theater room. So it's kind of a short entry, but they built this design center at Elliston. Elliston is the last name of the owner. And it basically it gives you the vibe of a home. And so when you walk into their design center, you get to see like a living room, you get to see a dining room, you get to see a bedroom, and kind of what you could possibly do in that space at your own home kind of thing. And then of course they got this killer home theater, which was phenomenal. It absolutely breathtaking. Really, really done well. It was designed by Keith Yates. So he's really, really big in the home theater space. And so they just did it really, really well with acoustics and, of course, sound treatment, speaker placement, all of that stuff. Just the engineering that went behind it. Even the baffle wall I saw, I couldn't film it because it's kind of like Keith's thing, it's like proprietary deal. But I saw let's just say the architectural drawings of just the front baffle wall. So where the speakers are at on the front wall behind the screen, there's literally layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon, I bet there's 10 layers of this baffle wall of different materials and fabric. And I'm like, man, but you could tell it was more than just, we just bought some expensive equipment, threw it in a room, and hope it sounded great. It did it really, really well. So that was cool. But it was just run and gun, man. We'd finish one, head over to the next one, finish one, head over to the next one. First day we were so busy, we didn't have time for lunch, so we grabbed a cookie. And that was it. That was it. Cookie and a Coke, and we were on to the next one. I was charging batteries and stuff in between shoots, so we would always go back to I always forget the overarching name, but it's Anthem, JBL Synthesis. What is the group called? Harman. Okay, Harman, yeah, Harman Luxury Audio Group. So they had this big booth, and they had a kind of a round circular spot right in the middle. And so it was cool because they let me just crash there. So I'd put my camera gear up there. I'd be plugging in. I had extension cords and,
real quick, people are asking about this Meyer sound thing that we mentioned, though.
Yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt, real quick.
No, you're good, man.
Space Map. It's this Space Map. And so I've watched some actual some videos about this. I don't know that this does it justice, but you can see. Look at this layout. Like,
that's crazy.
They don't care where you put them. Right. And then so the whole idea is it's a little bit different in that it's made for, let's say, a Disneyland, right? At Disneyland, you may want this sound, like when it detects somebody comes in, they want the sound to move from this to this speaker in like a spiral upward. Yeah. Okay, well, that's kind of what it is, right?
Right.
I mean, it's just the next level of what we're trying to do. You see? Here it is. It's probably extremely expensive, but
yeah. Well,
check it out.
I'm assuming Meyer was pretty high end.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, man. Super, super cool. So I'll be editing that video, like I said, sometime this week. But yeah, man, I think as far as, did it meet my expectations, exceed my expectations? It was just a fun event, man. Just really fun. It was great getting to know the vendors because, I've been emailing them back and forth for 4 years. A lot of them I've never met personally. So being able to connect with them personally, some of them we reconnected from M-Wave or reconnected from Audio Advice Live. So I had a chance to, hang out with them again. Got to meet some fans, so that was cool always, but we just had a blast, man. And hanging out with Brad, he was super, super helpful, man. He did all my camera work for me, so that I could just focus on the kind of like the message and interacting with whoever was kind of speaking on behalf of that brand and just having kind of an interview style and a conversation more than a sales pitch. Because I told all of them, I said, look, my audience doesn't need a sales pitch. They don't want a sales pitch. They just want to hear your heart. They want to hear your passion. Of course they want to hear about your products, but let's just have fun with it. And if you and I can have fun with it in our conversation, they're going to connect with that. And it's going to be a good video.
I know what you mean. A lot of times they're just in that mode though, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to get them out of that mode because they're just in that's what they've been doing the whole time. Yeah. So when you get into it, they're like, yeah, and by the way, blah, blah. You're like, no, hold on. let's just relax, bro.
Let's have some fun.
I throw them off their game. I'll ask them some weird question, talk about like their shirt or something random. They're like, what? Huh? Like,
it's like, that isn't in the script. What do I do?
Yeah, come on. What is this? I'm curious about those rooms though, because I saw in the videos there's these like rooms that they build.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing, right? Because a typical convention center, it's just a big open space.
Correct.
If you play some loud stuff, you're gonna just disturb everybody, and that's the problem with sound is it doesn't discriminate. It's just gonna go everywhere and anywhere it can go. So they have to contain that, right?
Yeah. So a lot of brands, I say a lot. There were probably 6 or 7 that I know of, but I know there were other rooms that I didn't even get a chance to visit. One of those was the Sound United room. Never got a chance to get there, but I saw, I think, Haterade Cowboy. He's a new content creator. Jordan, super nice guy. Had a chance to meet him at the show.
Yeah.
Jordan did a video on that, and so Bowers and Wilkins had not their highest end, but not their lowest end, kind of something in the middle. I think it was their CT series. So they kind of look like monitor speakers. They're kind of square, rectangular shape on stands. So they had that set up in a room. So they had their own room. Like I mentioned, Trinov and Seymour and oh goodness, who else? Macintosh, all them. They were in a room.
I'm curious, with all that power that you're showing all these amps and all these crazy systems. Does the sound bleed out of those little rooms that they make?
Well, of course. I mean, I'm out there trying to do an interview with the owner of Mad VR and the owner of Trinov. In the room behind us.
These are the things I want to know.
Oh yeah,
like all the stuff that
you can't contain bass. You know that.
Yeah, those are the things I'm curious about, right? Because like I know everything from the videos. I watch the videos. I know I pretty much know what's happening. I have been at trade shows. I'm like, does it shake? Like, what's happening here? How dark are the rooms too?
So here's the thing. So the darkest room we went into was the absolute ultimate AV. So I did a video on my channel. It's a guy by the name of Nigel and Alan. So they're co-owners of the brand. They're down in Sarasota, Florida. So they're probably maybe 45 minutes from me. So Nigel built this room similar to the other ones, but his room literally has velvet all the way around. We're talking side walls, rear walls, ceiling, everything's velvet, black velvet. So he can get it pitch black. Interesting thing, he had a $450,000 Christie Eclipse projector. Turn the lights off, it's pitch black. You can't see your hand in front of your face. So that one was probably the darkest room. Some of the other rooms could probably get pretty dark as well. I mean, it's totally enclosed. There's no light coming in. But Nigel, he's so adamant about removing all aspects of light. He actually, when he dimmed the lights the first time, he looked over at me and he said, "What's that?" And I'm like, "What's what?" He said, "The little lights." And I looked down and it was from my little Rode microphone.
Oh, okay.
He brought electrical tape over to me, put on top. I'm dead serious.
That's awesome. He's prepared with it.
Yeah. Ryan said because they donated the Mad VR for their booth or whatever to represent in there. And when Ryan gets it back, it's got electrical tape all over the back side of the unit. And it's in the back inside a rack, but I mean, they take light seriously because they realize that the darker you can get the room, the better your picture quality is going to be. You're not getting anything that's going to wash out or degrade. Is that the right word? Degrade degrade the image quality on the screen. So, but yeah, man, it was super cool.
Let's see. What else do I want to know? Okay. Out of all those systems, did you hear anything? I think I asked Ike the same thing. Did you hear anything that you never heard from a system before? Is like, because these are extreme as far as like price wise.
Yeah, some of them
Macintosh system is like, this is like on the next level of money, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think so. Now, video wise, I've never seen anything like the Christie Eclipse. And then there was another one that was a 16-foot quantum, 16 feet wide quantum TV. So I don't know if it's the micro LEDs, what format it is, but it's basically like an LCD display or LED display. and this thing was 16 feet wide. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So in response to video wise, I've never seen anything quite that gorgeous.
That's what Ike said too. He said, you know,
phenomenal
display stuff, but I'm like sound wise.
Yeah, sound wise. I mean, like, there was nothing that I went, holy crap, this is a whole new world. This is a new experience for me. Because I've experienced massive bass. And the Trenoff booth had probably the most bass, but it was almost too much, you know. And I love bass, but to me it wasn't real balanced. I was way more impressed with the Absolute Ultimate AV sound system. So they had Steinway, which is, I guess they make the grand pianos. I'd never heard Steinway, so I was like,
Steinway Lingdorf, right?
Yeah, I didn't know they made the speakers too, but man, they even gave me, dude, I had him open it up. They gave me this beautiful book, Steinway book.
Oh, look at that.
You open it up and it's like, it got all their beautiful speakers and this nice little presentation. Wow. I thought that was super cool of them.
So that one sounded good in what way? Like, what about it sounded so excellent?
So when I don't remember what track we were listening to, but we were watching kind of like a concert DVD. And it was just beautiful, man. I mean, it's one of those things where you legit felt like, okay, if I close my eyes, I really would just imagine that I'm sitting in the room with her, you know, singing and playing. And it's like, and it literally like melted your heart. So when you are listening to something that moves you emotionally, to me, that's a killer system, you know?
Yeah.
And so that one did that.
See, a lot of times when I do experience those types of things though, I'll take the track and I'm like, I want to hear it at home and I want to know what is it missing? What is it not doing? Yeah. Like that gives me an idea like, mine doesn't do that thing that this other thing did. Yeah.
I did the same thing. We watched when we were at the Myers home. I took a screenshot. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. But I ordered a DVD on it. I don't even think they have it on Blu-ray, but I ordered a DVD version of it. And because the exact same thing, I'm thinking, I want to see what this sounds like at my house. And I may be disappointed, but that's okay. Okay. Because I know I enjoy my system very much.
Because a lot of times things are recorded really well. Like that one bass track that you told us about.
Yes.
You know, when I tried it out, I'm like, this is the most bass I've ever heard in a track. Like, I don't even know how they were able to allow this much bass in this track.
Exactly.
So it's tricky sometimes, right? Sometimes the recordings are just excellent too.
Here it is. It's called, I kind of cut it off when I took a picture of it, but it's Sarah. You guys help me in the chat.
Hold on. Is this the one that you're talking about in the Absolute AV room?
So this was in Meyer. So I took a picture of this.
Brave Enough.
Yeah, it's called Sarah Brave Enough live at the Variety Playhouse. And so let me pull it up on eBay because I found it and I ordered it. But it was gorgeous. But they had it on Kaleidoscape. So I'm thinking, mine may not be as good quality being on DVD. Yeah, Sarah Bareilles, B-A-R-E, like bear.
Okay, yeah.
I-L-L-E-S, Brave Enough live at the Variety Playhouse, new DVD.
Okay.
So I ordered it. I figured, you know what, let me check it out.
Let's see.
See if it sounds good on my system.
Well, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's a trick, right? Not necessarily a trick, but you of course want to find the best possible tracks. You're not going to just say, whatever, you know. I spend a ton of money, but you know, who cares which tracks we use? You're going to try to find the best possible tracks.
Exactly.
Let's see here. Somebody's putting in the where'd it go? There it is. Sarah Bareilles.
It was awesome, man. So you've got it on Amazon Music as well? Cool. Good to know. Yeah, she was phenomenal, dude. I mean, it was so peaceful. But man, I just closed my eyes and I was just like, oh man, this is nice. Like you hear all the subtleties, of course. Her breath when her lips close and touch. To me, those things, I don't know what it is about that, but I love hearing detail. I love being able to hear, you know, when somebody's playing a guitar and you hear their hands or fingers slide up and down the fret. You know, those little, you know.
Yeah.
if I don't hear those things, then I feel like I'm missing out. Like your speakers are kind of veiling. There's a veil over it. So I love detail, but these, you know, by no means were even close to being harsh or bright. They were beautiful.
And so these were I'm assuming they used their Lingdorf Room Perfect to calibrate it?
Honestly, I don't remember what was in. I'd probably have to go back and look at the video because we were going back to back to the different rooms and the different booths. But I'm trying to remember what they had because they had the rack. I think I'm almost thinking it might have even been a Trenoff.
What?
Because again, it wasn't the Steinway room.
I see. Yeah, I see.
Steinway, I think, did have the Lingdorf, but the Meyer sound, which was over at the like a dealer's showroom, that was, I think, at Trenoff.
So here's a question I didn't get to ask Ike last time.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people, I don't know if I've heard Trenoff before. I need to go listen to FOMO's. He's nearby. He has a Trenoff, but you know, of course, that's very expensive. It's kind of like, you know, the thing to get if you want a processor.
Sure.
They have their own, you know, their calibration mic.
Right.
Did they do any demos of that specifically? Like, you know, I've heard the remapping where they kind of turn stuff around. None of that?
Yeah. These literally, you would go into a room, you know, and they're just going to show you, you know, 5 or 6 demo kind of things, some content. A lot of Top Gun Maverick demo clips playing on Kaleidoscape. Pretty much Kaleidoscape was everywhere. They had Kaleidoscape in about 30 different booths at the show. And so, but
just set up a booth next time.
it was cool, man. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. I think next year I'm going to get a hotel probably closer just to take that 45-minute drive out of there, but which was fine. It wasn't a big deal. But it might allow us to kind of, well, now that I think about it, if I'm making the amount of content that I was making, I was editing 2 videos a night sometimes till 3:30 in the morning, you know, to get them out the next day. So that's one of those things where my brain told me if I was closer, then I could maybe go out to eat with some of the people from, you know, the brands or whatever and hang out with them like we did at Audio Advice Live. But it's a different, probably was a lot different there because like I was in work mode. All the videos that you made, you didn't really have time to. Correct. Yeah.
So no eating, you know, wining and dining.
Nah,
Youthman?
I mean, we went out a couple times. I mean, like simple stuff, not Outback, but Applebee's or there was definitely nothing like, oh, this is fancy, this is cool. I mean, it's run and gun, man. Let's eat and let's get back to the hotel because I got videos to edit.
Because a lot of times I think people want to know, like, oh, did they treat you real nice? I mean, sometimes if you have time, I don't mind having a dinner with a company.
So at Audio Advice Live, we did a lot of that. So if you think about this, let's say the show ends at 5 or 6, I wasn't necessarily in work mode. It was like, okay, I'm just coming to check this thing out. I'll make some content on it. And it's just going to be a fun event. And so I had a couple videos that I had contracted with different brands to make some sponsored content. But for the most part, it was just like, okay, I got some free time. So when 5 o'clock rolled around, a lot of times, you know, the guys from RBH were like, hey, man, you guys got dinner plans? No, man, that's cool. So we'd walk down the road to, you know, a barbecue place and we'd have dinner there. And then there was actually a restaurant inside the hotel, nice little restaurant. And so one night we were there with Joey Peacock from Indie Audio Labs, and we're there with Richard Latowski from Mad VR, and the guys from PSB were there. So we're just sitting down at a big old table, just hanging out. Chris Walker from ELAC, he was there. So, you know, those types of things. It was a lot of fun. Just to get them to get to know those guys on a personal level. Yeah, you kind of want to see. I like to see the culture. You know, a lot of times I want to see like, you know, what the company's about. Sometimes you get to see like, do these guys get along? You know, all these little things. So I experienced that at Audio Advice Live, but like I said, CEDIA was more like, okay, I'm on a mission. I've got 12 videos I need to crank out. Business. And so it was really about that. So strictly business for you. Yeah. By the way.
Now, if you can't catch the show, we do have an audio version at anchor.fm/daily HiFi. So make sure to go on over there if you like to listen to the show.